Are there any other questions? Are there any other questions from the media?
Grocery stores. The lack of grocery stores.
Any more questions?
You know, I've been in this community for 56 years. I've lived in the same house for 56 years on Packard. I have seen this neighborhood when Gramson's and all those stores were on 71st Street, and I see it now. This is I don't care what you want to try to call it. I don't care why they want to fix it. This is a systematic process to move us out.
Without a doubt.
Every day, I get 3 or 4 phone calls about, do you want to sell your house? No, I'm not selling nothing. And I keep telling people, we don't have to move. If you sell, they're going to come in. If we don't sell, we got to stand strong.
That's right. We just getting started.
I did a live stream on Brandon Johnson's inauguration, and during the stream, Mayor Johnson made a statement that I meant to expound on but forgot to because I got sidetracked by the live chat. And I just wanted to take a quick moment to speak on that since I forgot to touch on it. Now, during his speech that many have titled the Soul of Chicago speech, he made a very interesting statement that made my antennas go up. So what I'm going to do right now is play it for you right now and let me know in the comment section if you actually caught what he said as well.
I'm talking about the soul of Chicago. Because that same soul spurred 2 immigrants from Guatemala to Humboldt Park, where they raised a daughter named Delia Ramirez. Who would grow up to make our city proud as a member of the United States Congress. Congresswoman Ramirez was born in the same public hospital where I, a child of the Great Migration, received life-saving asthma treatment. I'm talking about the soul of Chicago.
So in case you missed it, Brandon Johnson referred to himself as a child of the Great Migration in conjunction with the story of Delia Ramirez, who is the daughter of Guatemalans that immigrated to Chicago. Please do not allow that to go over your head, because what Brandon Johnson is doing is something that I've heard many black politicians attempt to do over the past 3 or so years, where they conflate black history with the current issue of illegal immigration. Now, that connection is a stretch to say the least, but it's a connection that you'll see some black politicians attempt to make from time to time. How many of you all remember in 2019 when the Congressional Black Caucus released its tweet stating, "We're proud to be with the Virginia Museum to commemorate the 400-year anniversary of forced African migration to the U.S." Can somebody please explain to me what in the world is forced African migration? Look at how much of a stretch it is to attempt to convince black Americans to get on board with accepting illegal immigration and getting on board with open borders. Now, how many of you all remember, I believe it was around the same time period in 2019, when Angela Rye was on The Breakfast Club saying the same thing. Now, unfortunately, I can't play that Breakfast Club clip for you because their YouTube channel will knock me for it. But what I can do is play Angela Rye's salty response after being called out for making such a ridiculous statement.
Yo, I'm not going to tell y'all this anymore, but I'm just going to do this for the people who are in the slow section in the back. I'm in the airport, so pardon the noise. I have never said that people whose ancestors arrived in the belly of a slave ship are immigrants. So GTFOH with that nonsense, okay? Stop following trolls. Stop being convinced by bots. I know my history. My dad has worked very hard on establishing an agenda for descendants of United States slaves. I'm not unclear. You're unclear. Stop with the nonsense. I know you want clicks and follows, and I'm doing it right here so you don't get any clicks and follows off of my influence. I'm out, dumbass.
Now, I'm not going to lie to you. That phrase, the child of the Great Migration, is actually pretty clever on Brandon Johnson's behalf. What he's attempting to do is make a connection between the Great Migration, which saw millions of black Americans flee racial persecution in the South for a better life and a chance at opportunity in the North. Cities like Chicago, New York, Detroit, Los Angeles, Cleveland, and Washington, D.C. saw the bulk of that migration. Now, the ultimate goal is to get Black Americans to sympathize with the so-called migrants. I mean, come on. Don't you see how they migrated from the South and came to the North, just like Black Americans migrated from the South and came to the North? Don't you see how they migrated to the North in search of better opportunities, just like Black Americans migrated to the North in search of better opportunities? Don't you see how they migrated to the North, escaping the hardships of a corrupt government, the same way Black Americans migrated to the North in an attempt to escape the hardships of racial persecution by corrupt Southern governments? Black Americans, can't you see how we're all just immigrants? From forced migration from Africa to the United States to the Great Migration. Don't you see how we are all immigrants? This is a nation of immigrants. Immigrants built this country. Can't you all see? And that's the goal, for you to see things in that lens versus seeing it through its proper lens of the understanding that illegal immigration has a profound negative impact on the Black community, and that placing so-called migrants in your communities without even discussing it with you is profoundly disrespectful, especially when your government, in the case the local government of Chicago, has denied you the same resources that your local activists have been asking for years so they could combat homelessness and gun violence, but were denied. I'm telling you now, I can see that term child of the Great Migration taking off amongst this new generation of Black politicians like Brandon Johnson. So be on the lookout for it. And with all that being said, that does it for today's video. So please make sure you hit the subscribe button as well as the bell notification next to the subscribe button so you'll be notified whenever I release a new video. All social media links will be pinned in the comment section below. I also have a Telegram group now, so if you have Telegram, make sure to hit the link in the description box below as well as pinned in the comment section to join my Telegram group. And also, please make sure you text tdhiphop to number 33222. That's tdhiphop to number 33222. That way you'll get a text notification whenever I release a new video, but it also serves as an insurance plan for myself, so in case YouTube ever gives me the axe, I'll be able to send you a direct link to where you can find me next. And last but certainly not least, for those of you who have a love and appreciation for the work that I put in on this channel, the #1 way you can show your support is through Patreon. For only $3 a month, that will help put me in position to take TD Hip Hop Media off of YouTube. Remember, the goal is not to grow big on YouTube, but to grow independent of YouTube. And for those of you who have issues with joining Patreon, you can also hit the join button that's next to the subscribe button, and that way you can become an official channel member for as little as $3 a month as well. And lastly, if you haven't already, please make sure you join the emailing list. There is no way that I can go independent of YouTube if I cannot take the audience with me. And the link to that will be pinned in the comment section as well. Thank you for your time, and until the next video, peace.